Gas, bloating, constipation, fatigue, and even acne. These can all have to do with your bowels not functioning properly. If the plumbing's not working, so many things can go wrong, right, Shelly?
That's right. We were just saying, I feel like I'm constantly talking about bowel health when I come, but it's important.
It is super important.
Foundational to good health.
And some people ignore it. They ignore when they're having issues because they don't want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it for you.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we need to know? And we'll talk that first and then talk about who should cleanse their bowels.
Right. So, I mean, in terms of the why, like why should you cleanse your bowel is your most significant way to eliminate all of the toxins we're exposed to, metabolic waste, and all the things that your body are tolerating and your liver is doing. And with all this talk with springtime cleanses and detoxes, I actually recommend people make sure they're having good, healthy bowel movements before they ever partake in a detox. Because otherwise, if you're not having good bowel movements, your liver's doing all this extra work to move all this waste through, and you're constipated, you reabsorb it all.
Ooh.
So it's really, that's when you hear that people get sick or they feel unwell during detoxes. It's usually an issue with bowel health.
So if you're not getting it out, it's going back in.
It's going back in.
That doesn't sound very good. Yeah. All right. So when it comes to just foods that we can eat that can help with making sure everything's functioning
moving
properly
along
with the plumbing, you've got some great examples here, and people can include this every day in their diet.
Yeah, and I was just saying, actually, you know, I feel like every time I bring food props, it's always the same foods, but that's because a healthy whole food diet, there's no secrets. We all know how to eat well. So when we're talking about bowel health, the big three things we want to focus on are fiber, water, and healthy fat.
Okay.
So we have our whole grains. So, you know, you can do your whole grains and try to focus on wheat-free alternatives. Most of us eat way too much wheat.
Okay, so you've got some quinoa there.
Quinoa there. We've got fruit, which tends to help a lot of people because of the laxative effect.
Pears are really good right now.
Yeah.
They taste so juicy.
Yeah, so you want to focus on the high fiber fruits, the high soluble fiber fruits. And then, of course, your vegetables. And I tell people, don't be afraid of frozen vegetables.
Okay.
They often are actually a better alternative, particularly when fruit is not in season and if you're not buying local and that kind of thing. So they are a great alternative.
And this you can stock up on and have it in your freezer so that if you don't get to the market to get your fresh vegetables, you've got something there that you can use that's good for the body.
And it's convenient because if food prep is not accountable for time, if you don't have the time to account for food prep, they're easy. Right, so it's easy just to open a package.
And that's key, right, for everybody.
It's got to be doable, or you won't do it.
It has to be easy. Just have it. Pre-cut your vegetables too. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
To have everything pre-cut, ready to go, and then you can even just munch on it raw if you didn't want to cook it. So, what are some of the other things that we can do when it comes to detox and just that regular maintenance throughout the year with some of the supplements and help that you've got here?
So, when we're talking about bowel health, I do usually encourage people to do it through their diet. Drink your water, eat your fiber, get your healthy fat, exercise. But if things are not moving through, you can supplement with things like fiber. So there are general fiber supplements. They're usually a blend of insoluble and soluble fibers. And then we can get a little more aggressive. So we can use, these are laxatives. So we have two main classes of laxatives. These are cathartic laxatives, things like senna, cascara, and they cause peristalsis in your bowel. So not the solution long term, because people can acquire a dependency.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I've heard people who take this all the time, and that can't be good for us.
No, you end up your body ends up relying on that stimulation. And if you overdo it on the cathartic laxatives, you would get crampy and uncomfortable. So a much safer, better long-term solution is an osmotic laxative like magnesium, particularly magnesium oxides.
Which we've talked about. A lot of people do lack magnesium in their diet. So if they are having some issues, add some magnesium and see if that helps you.
And the reason that's safe is it just pulls water into your bowel and softens your stool.
Okay.
So great for constipation. And then we have demulcent herbs, which tend to be good for people with sort of inflammatory bowels. So inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's.
Yeah, which we just talked about yesterday. You know, a big issue for a lot of people. Like 1 out of 150 Canadians are dealing with that.
It probably from the lack of whole foods in our diet.
I was going to say it's probably a lot diet related for some people, right?
So our demulcent herbs tend to create a gel in your gut and help it heal. So they take a lot of inflammation out of your gut.
And then probiotics. We hear a lot about probiotics anymore.
For everything.
Yes.
Yeah, so foundational for digestive health. So, I mean, they do help with digestion. They do help with digestive capabilities, but they also, when we do start pushing a lot of fiber and a lot of bowel movements during detoxes and stuff, we do tend to push some of our probiotics out of our bowel. So it is a good idea to replace them.
I take a probiotic every day. Well, when I remember, sometimes I forget, but I feel great.
Yeah.
It's made the world of difference just doing that, just one of those a day.
Yeah.
And eating very healthy and, you know, tend to not have any plumbing problems
There
when
you
you
go.
do that, right?
That's right.
So, and that's what we're all
It's
trying
lifestyle.
to achieve. It is.
Lifestyle is ideal, not necessarily supplements for bowel health. So that's sort of where we tend to focus most of our efforts.
And talk to a professional if you're interested in doing a cleanse would be a good suggestion. Like, don't just do this on your own because you could get yourself into trouble.
Yes, you can make yourself much worse, actually.
Yeah, which you don't want to do.
No.
Thank you, Shelly.
Thanks.
Always great having you and Tyler
being
on.
here.
Full Circle Healthcare is where you can go for more information. They've got a great outlet there for you. Lots of workshops that go on, everything that you need, and then they'll talk you through, you know, just healthy diet and what you should be eating on a regular basis. FullCircleHealthcare.ca, Twitter as well. You can follow at Full Circle Supplements.